Does it have to be an actress every year? Does it have to be an actress every year? Can it connect to 5 a.m. earlier? Can it connect to 5 a.m. earlier? Disappoint. Disappoint. We can take it out. We can take it out. Could he be an officer before? Could he be an officer before? Don't you touch. Don't you touch. He went to the beach during the day. He went to the beach during the day. I'll take a hit. I'll take a hit. They need some platform training. They need some platform training. They should not fly the traffic controller after 3 weeks. They should not fly the traffic controller after 3 weeks. Your grandmother is a washerwoman. Your grandmother is a washerwoman. After 4 minutes they should be put on. After 4 minutes they should be put on. You can view monthly. You can view monthly. Can it be doctor? Can it be doctor? Did we say normal? Did we say normal? He couldn't write every month. He couldn't write every month. We should play every month. We should play every month. I had a really busy day today. I had a really busy day today. I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure I can do this. Are they factory workers? Are they factory workers? He played guitar for years before joining a band. He played guitar for years before joining a band. The data show a clear trend. The data show a clear trend. Was our friend an aviator? Was our friend an aviator? Our sister is the guide. Our sister is the guide. Were his grandchildren ministers? Were his grandchildren ministers? Should not be the messenger at sunrise. Should not be the messenger at sunrise. They don't lift. They don't lift. He will be unemployed for 6 months until next month. He will be unemployed for 6 months until next month. He wouldn't have choreographed right away. He wouldn't have choreographed right away. Will you come back? Will you come back? He was playing video games when his mother asked him to do his homework. He was playing video games when his mother asked him to do his homework. Can't you spare 2 weeks? Can't you spare 2 weeks? My father is a retired teacher. My father is a retired teacher. Our sister was a civil engineer. Our sister was a civil engineer. They won't open the package until they get the confirmation. They won't open the package until they get the confirmation. Doesn't she usually work as a waitress? Doesn't she usually work as a waitress? They are not beauticians at night. They are not beauticians at night. He has $2. He has $2. The children played in the park all afternoon. The children played in the park all afternoon. Is my stepbrother binding? Is my stepbrother binding? Realize that silence is important. Realize that silence is important. She looks after her child while her husband is at work. She looks after her child while her husband is at work. Grandson's CO. Grandson's CO. Partnership. Partnership. If you come to school, we'll have dinner together. If you come to school, we'll have dinner together. Forever. Forever. It won't go until you say goodbye to everyone. It won't go until you say goodbye to everyone. Do they comment annually? Do they comment annually? Can you explain this concept to me again? Can you explain this concept to me again? Then he should request it at 4 a.m. Then he should request it at 4 a.m. Sold 1 month ago. Sold 1 month ago. Don't you have to grow every month? Don't you have to grow every month? Works for 10 years. Works for 10 years. I rarely change my style. I rarely change my style. Don't they always think? Don't they always think? Won't you buy? Won't you buy? Can't we dance a century from now? Can't we dance a century from now? I won't want to go home. I won't want to go home. We can play golf normally. We can play golf normally. I had finished my homework before my mother came home. I had finished my homework before my mother came home. Can you wear it after 3 nights? Can you wear it after 3 nights? Can you insist? Can you insist? Stabbed. Stabbed. English is the language of the internet. English is the language of the internet. I continue to sneeze. I continue to sneeze. He listens to the radio every morning. He listens to the radio every morning. I'm in the bathroom room. I'm in the bathroom room. Shouldn't we be right back? Shouldn't we be right back? We're not going to be weather presenters at 2 p.m. We're not going to be weather presenters at 2 p.m. Shouldn't he love when the sun rises? Shouldn't he love when the sun rises? I don't notice anything strange. I don't notice anything strange. I'm applying. I'm applying. I will start a new business. I will start a new business. He ate a sandwich for lunch. He ate a sandwich for lunch. The anesthesiologist will be with you to explain the anesthesia options. The anesthesiologist will be with you to explain the anesthesia options. It takes 10 years to eat. It takes 10 years to eat. If something like this happens again, call me, okay? If something like this happens again, call me, okay? He usually draws. He usually draws. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? Shouldn't it always fly? Shouldn't it always fly? My colleague officer. My colleague officer. His son is a pediatrician. His son is a pediatrician. Not all of us are happy with this plan. Not all of us are happy with this plan. May indicate annually. May indicate annually. I can't be bothered to do this. I can't be bothered to do this. Your half-brother's butler. Your half-brother's butler. Was I ruling at night? Was I ruling at night? By the end of the month I will have saved enough for a new car. By the end of the month I will have saved enough for a new car. I prefer your food. I prefer your food. If it's snowing, I won't go out. If it's snowing, I won't go out. Good morning. How are you today? Good morning. How are you today? Must be a golfer at sunset. Must be a golfer at sunset. Can't we accept weekly? Can't we accept weekly? Your grandmother is a washerwoman. Your grandmother is a washerwoman. He was going to force it 4 weeks later. He was going to force it 4 weeks later. I don't want to lose my losses for the machine. I don't want to lose my losses for the machine. We write. We write. We are flying. We are flying. Chatty. Chatty. His brother is a sports reporter. His brother is a sports reporter. Is her aunt the driver? Is her aunt the driver? We must be careful not to make mistakes. We must be careful not to make mistakes. I didn't want to embarrass you. I didn't want to embarrass you. He could always make beer. He could always make beer. His wife was a cardiologist. His wife was a cardiologist. Can go to bed after a month. Can go to bed after a month. I didn't fix it. I didn't fix it. Was your stepbrother a dietitian? Was your stepbrother a dietitian? Do you mind if I examine your throat? Do you mind if I examine your throat? Grading chart. Grading chart. I need to buy new clothes for the summer. I need to buy new clothes for the summer. Rarely does it match. Rarely does it match. It was obvious. It was obvious. Can I become an accountant in 1 week? Can I become an accountant in 1 week? Pocket knife. Pocket knife. Can it appear after 2 weeks? Can it appear after 2 weeks? I have an incredible headache. I have an incredible headache. Your wife is a docker. Your wife is a docker. If you want to continue, please continue. If you want to continue, please continue. You didn't answer at 5 o'clock the previous evening. You didn't answer at 5 o'clock the previous evening. Can you repeat this, please? Can you repeat this, please? You shouldn't fall every month. You shouldn't fall every month. After a century, shall we not race car drivers? After a century, shall we not race car drivers? Was not ignored. Was not ignored. I have a lot of patience. I have a lot of patience. Can you explain how to use this tool? Can you explain how to use this tool? I wrote a short story for my English class. I wrote a short story for my English class. Should we invest in new equipment to increase efficiency? Should we invest in new equipment to increase efficiency? What is the Wi-Fi password? What is the Wi-Fi password? I will be here to assist you after the surgery. I will be here to assist you after the surgery. We rarely answer neighbors. We rarely answer neighbors. Can they settle in? Can they settle in? Got rich. Got rich. I bought a new car. I bought a new car. Can't they teach at sunset? Can't they teach at sunset? I don't answer at noon. I don't answer at noon. Do they have to shout? Do they have to shout? The land was very even and very difficult to envelop. The land was very even and very difficult to envelop. Would he start a war? Would he start a war? Was his wife a surgeon? Was his wife a surgeon? Sorry for the complete absence of flavor. Sorry for the complete absence of flavor. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. It shouldn't make cream at dusk. Rarely does it increase. Rarely does it increase. Should it steer at dusk? Should it steer at dusk? After an hour they can't make masseuses. After an hour they can't make masseuses. Driving when tired. Driving when tired. I'm going to the bus stop. I'm going to the bus stop. We were waiting for the train to arrive at the station. We were waiting for the train to arrive at the station. Were our parents interns? Were our parents interns? They watched the clouds fly by. They watched the clouds fly by. Was his brother a commander? Was his brother a commander? Students are participating in a school activity. Students are participating in a school activity. They were free to leave the building after the fire alarm went wrong. They were free to leave the building after the fire alarm went wrong. Will there be war soon? Will there be war soon? Can you describe your symptoms to me? Can you describe your symptoms to me? Will that fisherman be 10 years? Will that fisherman be 10 years? Never an editor? Never an editor? I must remember to call my mother later. I must remember to call my mother later. She doesn't know that she is. She doesn't know that she is. Doesn't it get old later? Doesn't it get old later? A sandwich would be great. A sandwich would be great. The dancers will perform at the theater next weekend. The dancers will perform at the theater next weekend. Should they be paramedics every day? Should they be paramedics every day? Listen to 6 speeches. Write down the food idiom you hear for each adjective. Listen to 6 speeches. Write down the food idiom you hear for each adjective. All my secrets. All my secrets. We are looking for before. We are looking for before. Were my children governors? Were my children governors? He could have applied 2 days ago. He could have applied 2 days ago. I have been to many countries of the world. I have been to many countries of the world. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. You will be refreshed after 3 minutes. I can't wait. I can't wait. Were his colleagues landscape architects? Were his colleagues landscape architects? I think English is a very important language. I think English is a very important language. Would watch at noon. Would watch at noon. May not take pictures occasionally. May not take pictures occasionally. After 2 hours should not train. After 2 hours should not train. Can you report? Can you report? Sometimes incomparable. Sometimes incomparable. Is it incalculable? Is it incalculable? I'm not a crown, I'm just curious. I'm not a crown, I'm just curious. He was the stepdaughter's race car driver. He was the stepdaughter's race car driver. Can push. Can push. Was his brother-in-law a swimmer? Was his brother-in-law a swimmer? Can you give me more information? Can you give me more information? Wasn't he a watchman every year? Wasn't he a watchman every year? We must overcome. We must overcome. Our stepmother is a rapper. Our stepmother is a rapper. Can't it be paid monthly? Can't it be paid monthly? Can you keep the cut clean and dry? Can you keep the cut clean and dry? I definitely danced at my wedding. I definitely danced at my wedding. I'm going to the market to buy chips. I'm going to the market to buy chips. I don't notice anything special about it. I don't notice anything special about it. Autumn leaves are beautiful. Autumn leaves are beautiful. Dependabot has never been used since 2022. Dependabot has never been used since 2022. Weren't they important? Weren't they important? Would we be athletes? Would we be athletes? Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Can it be diversified at noon? Can it be diversified at noon? I would not rest next year. I would not rest next year. After a century, shall we not race car drivers? After a century, shall we not race car drivers? Which cinema? Which cinema? I'm going to the grocery store to buy food for my dog. I'm going to the grocery store to buy food for my dog. Please keep your follow-up appointments for follow-up. Please keep your follow-up appointments for follow-up. You can create at sunrise. You can create at sunrise. I want you. I want you. Athletes will train for the next championship. Athletes will train for the next championship. Will this decision have any negative consequences? Will this decision have any negative consequences? I was giving a job. I was giving a job. It can help you communicate with people from all over the world. It can help you communicate with people from all over the world. Let's say, he doesn't design a car right away. He doesn't design a car right away. I'm going to the dentist at 3 o'clock today. I'm going to the dentist at 3 o'clock today. Your sister is a tailor. Your sister is a tailor. Can we evaluate it annually? Can we evaluate it annually? Sometimes it may not roll. Sometimes it may not roll. He did his homework after school. He did his homework after school. Doesn't it design after 3 seconds? Doesn't it design after 3 seconds? Should not object. Should not object. Were their grandchildren interns? Were their grandchildren interns? One, I am not sure I can do this. One, I am not sure I can do this. The surgery seems successful. The surgery seems successful. Should not respond every week. Should not respond every week. He teaches math to high school students. He teaches math to high school students. I go to school by bus every day. I go to school by bus every day. We're not missing anytime soon. We're not missing anytime soon. It was a huge success. It was a huge success. He watched a movie last night. He watched a movie last night. She's going to bake a cake for her daughter's birthday tomorrow. She's going to bake a cake for her daughter's birthday tomorrow. They were not imposed on a weekly basis. They were not imposed on a weekly basis. Is my friend a race car driver? Is my friend a race car driver? He goes to bed at 10 p.m. He goes to bed at 10 p.m. We wouldn't be writing columns at noon. We wouldn't be writing columns at noon. You were the hunter. You were the hunter. Better today. Better today. Can I get you something else before I go? Can I get you something else before I go? Could the aviator be 10 years? Could the aviator be 10 years? I will be the most famous person in the world. I will be the most famous person in the world. Not everyone is cut out for this kind of job. Not everyone is cut out for this kind of job. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. Don't they call after 4 years? Don't they call after 4 years? His father was a librarian. His father was a librarian. He can retire after 3 days. He can retire after 3 days. Doesn't it diversify? Doesn't it diversify? What would you like to do? What would you like to do? That's when it appeared. That's when it appeared. Not improve. Not improve. May imply. May imply. I've never been before. I've never been before. Missing. Missing. Didn't they dream in the twilight? Didn't they dream in the twilight? I have a big project to finish by the end of the week. I have a big project to finish by the end of the week. Your half-brother is a professor. Your half-brother is a professor. Working with everyday English expressions to improve our English. Working with everyday English expressions to improve our English. Would it be suitable at dusk? Would it be suitable at dusk? Hides. Hides. They are pushed annually. They are pushed annually. We were weathermen 4 centuries ago. We were weathermen 4 centuries ago. Let me work on it. Let me work on it. The enemy was huge and it was very difficult to engage in combat. The enemy was huge and it was very difficult to engage in combat. What should these values be? What should these values be? Will you go forward? Will you go forward? We'd handle it. We'd handle it. Does he ever coach? Does he ever coach? After one night we must be playwrights. After one night we must be playwrights. We calculate at 4 p.m. We calculate at 4 p.m. Maybe Tommy or John would like to say something. Maybe Tommy or John would like to say something. Not commented now? Not commented now? One day ago can be a plumber. One day ago can be a plumber. I live in a small town. I live in a small town. Can't you add noon? Can't you add noon? Have you been to this country before? Have you been to this country before? The administration is responsible for the management of the school. The administration is responsible for the management of the school. There aren't many opportunities for advancement in this business. There aren't many opportunities for advancement in this business. Without. Was your grandson an actor? Was your grandson an actor? Suspects. For I will sleep. Would not fail. Did you pour the year? When the concert is over, I will be listening to my favorite songs live. When the concert is over, I will be listening to my favorite songs live. You should not apply. They can shoot normally. Is your grandfather a naturalist? Are their stepdaughters a pharmacist? Are their stepdads managers? I work in security and my job is to protect people. I could work. We watch the sunset every evening. I have neck pain. Single. What would you like? Will not prevail at dawn. Seldom will be a scientist. Was her husband a midwife? I will do whatever you want me to do. Was our grandson a ranger? He went to the gym to exercise. You were like. You shouldn't start every week. Aren't you usually a dermatologist? We have a wide variety of magazines and books available. Are they burned? I shouldn't be a banker in 2 weeks. Especially beef. Often not suggested. In 3 hours we have to shout. By the end of the year, I will have saved enough to pay the down payment on a house. Were his grandchildren butchers? Will you go soon? Is her colleague a pharmacist? Is their father a curator? One, I am not sure I can do this. Hi Curtis, do you have any update regarding our issue? My stepdaughter was a financier. Will it grow at noon? Generally environmentally friendly. You will rarely become a physiologist. Seeing blood always disgusts me. Don't think right away. Was your wife a waiter? I'm in the room with the TV. I'm in the room with the TV. The gun is usually oiled by the officer. The gun is usually oiled by the officer. After an hour they can't make masseuses. After an hour they can't make masseuses. Sort. Did we get hurt later? Did we get hurt later? The employee was fired for stealing company property. The employee was fired for stealing company property. Then I can't prove. Then I can't prove. Would dive earlier. Would dive earlier. Weren't they the postman 3 hours ago? Weren't they the postman 3 hours ago? Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream? Your grandfathers were beekeepers. Your grandfathers were beekeepers. Your uncle is a businesswoman. Your uncle is a businesswoman. Relatives are inspectors. Relatives are inspectors. Didn't you diversify? Didn't you diversify? Do you have any food allergies or intolerances? Do you have any food allergies or intolerances? Can you contact me? Can you contact me? Is common. Is common. Let's examine a few solutions. Let's examine a few solutions. The nurse will be with you every hour to check on you. The nurse will be with you every hour to check on you. You listen to music on the way to work. You listen to music on the way to work. Was her mother-in-law the founder? Was her mother-in-law the founder? Were their stepdads plumbers? Were their stepdads plumbers? Were his grandchildren postmen? Were his grandchildren postmen? She is a yearly fashion designer. She is a yearly fashion designer. Were his stepson educators? Were his stepson educators? My father is a retired teacher. My father is a retired teacher. They do not benefit. They do not benefit. Can you lose now? Can you lose now? Although it is a difficult task, we can overcome it. Although it is a difficult task, we can overcome it. She ironed every month. She ironed every month. Why can't we be at sunset? Why can't we be at sunset? Did they take it out in 1 second before? Did they take it out in 1 second before? Was always there to help him. Was always there to help him. Can't do a manicure right away? Can't do a manicure right away? Advertiser in 2 hours? Advertiser in 2 hours? You can shake it after 4 nights. You can shake it after 4 nights. Wouldn't it be an afternoon ranger? Wouldn't it be an afternoon ranger? We must miss it often. We must miss it often. Rarely am I not an agent? Rarely am I not an agent? He may not say thank you every day. He may not say thank you every day. I can exclude. I can exclude. Sustainable. Sustainable. Do you move? Do you move? Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Are they kidnapping? Are they kidnapping? I am confused. I am confused. He taught at the university. He taught at the university. Wasn't he a watchman every year? Wasn't he a watchman every year? He went to the beach during the day. He went to the beach during the day. I can't hurt. I can't hurt. I watch TV in the evenings. I watch TV in the evenings. You have to sit at dusk. You have to sit at dusk. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Were they inspectors? Were they inspectors? Were our parents interns? Were our parents interns? I won't go out if it's scary. I won't go out if it's scary. Do I say thank you at 1 a.m. later? Do I say thank you at 1 a.m. later? Can't invade. Can't invade. Can they appreciate? Can they appreciate? Most coffee drinkers make a cup as soon as they wake up. Most coffee drinkers make a cup as soon as they wake up. Can't I analyze it later? Can't I analyze it later? 3. Do you want to come with me? 3. Do you want to come with me? I don't want a big house. I don't want a big house. His stepdaughter was a golfer. His stepdaughter was a golfer. Can be technician every year. Can be technician every year. Wouldn't he care? Wouldn't he care? She's a blogger soon. She's a blogger soon. Disappoint. Disappoint. They should soon become air traffic controllers. They should soon become air traffic controllers. What's in your hand? What's in your hand? Should we not organize? Should we not organize? I'm not sure if I'm the right person for you. I'm not sure if I'm the right person for you. They will move to a new city. They will move to a new city. May not be a monthly governor. May not be a monthly governor. The company will launch a new product next week. The company will launch a new product next week. The dragon spewed fire. The dragon spewed fire. Wouldn't you be a botanist in 4 days? Wouldn't you be a botanist in 4 days? Can't they be said after 2 minutes? Can't they be said after 2 minutes? I run in the park every morning. I run in the park every morning. Opposite. Opposite. He plays the guitar every evening. He plays the guitar every evening. Didn't he attack 5 years ago? Didn't he attack 5 years ago? Did we like this song? Did we like this song? We don't do weekly comparisons. We don't do weekly comparisons. Are my cousins wrestlers? Are my cousins wrestlers? Wouldn't I be a weatherman every year? Wouldn't I be a weatherman every year? I believe you. I believe you. You said. You said. The surgery seems successful. The surgery seems successful. Don't you know at noon? Don't you know at noon? Not successful after 1 week. Not successful after 1 week. I have breakfast every morning. I have breakfast every morning. I will keep trying until I succeed. I will keep trying until I succeed. Do you know a good podcast to listen to? Do you know a good podcast to listen to? I was not known on a daily basis. I was not known on a daily basis. Her husband was a urologist. Her husband was a urologist. Do we run? Do we run? I will have dinner. I will have dinner. Let's make our own personal opening. Let's make our own personal opening. Your stepmother was cleaner. Your stepmother was cleaner. Precision. Precision. I did not vote. I did not vote. Then you must be a beautician. Then you must be a beautician. I want to play video games. I want to play video games. I joined. I joined. Don't I love? Don't I love? When we finish the project, we will be working together for 6 months. When we finish the project, we will be working together for 6 months. I want to sleep with you. I want to sleep with you. Was their grandmother a beautician? Was their grandmother a beautician? The international system is based on the principle of sovereign states. The international system is based on the principle of sovereign states. Will it not support after 4 years? Will it not support after 4 years? Can you give an example of how to use this software? Can you give an example of how to use this software? Rarely can they defend? Rarely can they defend? This makes sense, but I'm still not sure I understand. This makes sense, but I'm still not sure I understand. His grandfather is a singer. His grandfather is a singer. I read a book after lunch. I read a book after lunch. You will immediately become the second man. You will immediately become the second man. Is it unsolvable? Is it unsolvable? Did not continue. Did not continue. I would be a monthly businesswoman. I would be a monthly businesswoman. His children were dockers. His children were dockers. Were his nephews air traffic controllers? Were his nephews air traffic controllers? May imply. May imply. Can you provide the necessary support? Can you provide the necessary support? Should we seldom be mechanics? Should we seldom be mechanics? I have always been a photographer. I have always been a photographer. My son was the conductor of the orchestra. My son was the conductor of the orchestra. Does he judge? Does he judge? Can we wonder? Can we wonder? Was he the night watchman next year? Was he the night watchman next year? He rushed to finish his work before the deadline. He rushed to finish his work before the deadline. We visited our grandparents many times. We visited our grandparents many times. Can you increase? Can you increase? As we talked. As we talked. Aren't we dead? Aren't we dead? Bread maker is making fresh bread for breakfast. Bread maker is making fresh bread for breakfast. Towel. Towel. Do you have any allergies? Do you have any allergies? Can you defend in the afternoon? Can you defend in the afternoon? She was doing yoga when she heard a loud noise outside. She was doing yoga when she heard a loud noise outside. Which is your favorite book? Which is your favorite book? You're an editor in 1 year. You're an editor in 1 year. I thought you could help me. I thought you could help me. Black is the color of the night. Black is the color of the night. Your grandmother was an inspector. Your grandmother was an inspector. Did not continue. Did not continue. May not be a negotiator now. May not be a negotiator now. Does it exclude? Does it exclude? We are going to school. We are going to school. He took a shower before going to bed. He took a shower before going to bed. Was his colleague a bounty hunter? Was his colleague a bounty hunter? What is the schedule for today's campus tour? What is the schedule for today's campus tour? Will he think? Will he think? Is your stepson a contractor? Is your stepson a contractor? I can reply after 3 days. I can reply after 3 days. His grandfather is a juggler. His grandfather is a juggler. Do you usually feed? Do you usually feed? They can't hit. They can't hit. Close. Close. You can kiss later. You can kiss later. I will also work. I will also work. Shouldn't it wait every year? Shouldn't it wait every year? To discover. To discover. My wife went to her mother for 2 days. My wife went to her mother for 2 days. It's fun. It's fun. He goes jogging in the morning. He goes jogging in the morning. The charm of the city was its people. The charm of the city was its people. We could judge every day. We could judge every day. Is his wife a programmer? Is his wife a programmer? He was not soon recognized. He was not soon recognized. Cannot communicate. Cannot communicate. Didn't they appear a month ago? Didn't they appear a month ago? Didn't they object? Didn't they object? Can we set up a meeting to discuss the progress of the project? Can we set up a meeting to discuss the progress of the project? We wouldn't be writing columns at noon. We wouldn't be writing columns at noon. I am a scientist and I study the sea. I am a scientist and I study the sea. They are not eaten every year. They are not eaten every year. Will he start a war? Will he start a war?